Okay, so today we are going to be making our translation tessellation. And to do that, we're going to use these little cards. This is made out of cardstock, like a birthday card would be or something like that. These are old business cards that I used to have before I was a teacher, and they are a perfect 2.5-inch square, which is just what we need for our tessellation. So to create it, we're going to follow, everybody's going to have this worksheet right here to help guide you. It's got written instructions, and it shows you photos or drawings of exactly what I'm going to talk about. So if at any time while you're working you forget what to do, you've got it right here on this worksheet to look at. The first thing we're going to do to help us get things in the right spot is we're going to label our square exactly like this right here. We're going to put 1s on the left and right, and we're going to put 2s on the top and bottom. That's just going to help us match up our pieces and make sure we put stuff in the right spot. The next step says that we're going to draw a line from the top corner all the way down to the bottom corner. Now these lines that you draw need to be simple, okay? They need to be very simple. If you start to make lines that look like that, it's going to be so hard to cut out and you're going to drive yourself crazy. So you want to make something that is just a simple line, maybe a few little, curves or zigzags or something, but not anything too crazy. So I'm just going to make a really simple, just something like that, all right? Next, you will take a pair of scissors and you will carefully cut. The most important part of making this tessellation is how you cut. You have to be really accurate, and once you cut out the shape, once this is cut out, I can't do anything else to it. I can't go back and trim here. I can't go back and cut on this because these two have to fit together perfectly to work. All right? The same step says that after I cut out my shape, I slide it across and I tape it to the other side. So you want your 1s to be next to each other. So I take my cutout, I move it across, and you want to make sure that your two pieces sit right next to each other. You don't want one to lay on top of another. You want them exactly next to each other, okay? Their edges touching. You're going to take a little tape. Take a little tape. Tape it down. You can do the front and the back to make sure it's really nice and secure. You don't want your tape to mess up your shape. Like right here, I have a little bit of tape hanging off. So I'm going to make sure I trim that. If you have a big piece of tape, if you get all tape crazy and you start doing stuff like this where you've got tape hanging off, that's going to mess up your tessellation. So if something like that happens, you need to make sure that you trim off. In fact, let me just do it for you. You need to make sure that you trim off that tape without cutting your cardstock, okay, so that that stays exactly the same. Let's see, step number 3 says you're going to repeat the same process, except this time you're going to do a shape at the top and you're going to move it to the bottom. So I am just going to go corner to corner again. And again, it's just going to be something really simple. Don't make it too difficult on yourself. I'm going to cut that. Just trying to cut once so that you don't end up making all kinds of different things. And then that piece is also going to slide down so that your 2s are next to each other. And you're going to tape that down in the same exact place. All right, now the last part says you've got to test and see if it will tessellate. So you will have a blank sheet of just copy paper. I'm going to flip it over and use the back of this. You will have a blank sheet of copy paper, and what you'll want to do is test it out. So lay your tessellation in the middle, trace around it. You got to keep it really nice and still without trying to, move it around. And then what you want to do is you want to slide it. Our translation tessellations, you're always going to see your 2s and your 1s and this little red CFA thing right here, okay? You're never going to flip it like this. You're never going to turn it like this. You are going to leave it exactly how you traced it, and you're just going to slide it to where it will fit just like a puzzle piece. And then when you trace it again, you can see that They fit together just like a tessellation could. No gaps, no overlaps, and they could continue going on and on and on and on and on and on and on, no matter what. When you get to the edges, you go right off the edge because we want the illusion that this continues on off of our paper. All right, just like MC Escher's would. So for the rest of class today, I just want you to work on making your tessellation tile. I want you to practice tracing it so that you know it'll tessellate, and then tomorrow we'll talk about what does this look like and what could I turn it into.